So I just checked out the Attack on Titan the movie, the live action film, and yeah, let's talk about it.
Shut up and sit down.
Yo, what's good? It's a boy Dude Reviews, and Attack on Titan the live action film is a 2015 Japanese post-apocalyptic action film based on Hajime Isayama's manga, directed by Shinji Hijutsu, written by Yosuke Watanabe and Tomohiro Makayama, and stars a range of Japanese casts including Hamura Rui and Hideko Hasegawa. And what's this film all about? Well, Eren Yeager and his childhood friends Mikasa Ackerman and Armin Arlet join the Survey Corps, a military corporation to fight gigantic humanoids called the Titans, after their hometown is attacked by the Colossal Titan. The film is split into two parts, both released in the same year. In terms of the good, I really do like the Titan shifter designs, particularly the Colossal Titan. The extra detail and that freakish movement that they have on screen just really gives these Titans an otherworldly vibe. They kind of even feel like aliens invading planet Earth for some odd reason. I do admit that part two's acting was far better than part one. Ironically, the part two didn't really adapt the manga that well, while part one was more or less faithful, but the acting was just not up to par in part one. And I will give the film praise on the fact that they didn't actually censor the violence and really kept it brutal and gory. There were a lot of really terrifying scenes of people being ripped by the Titans, and even the scene when the Titans first attack Eren's hometown, you actually just really felt for these people, and it was a tragedy watching it. It was just heartbreaking watching these people suffer the way they did. Satomio Ishihara's performance as Hans, aka Hanji Zoe, was the best performance. Out of all the characters, she truly did justice to Hanji Zoe. I flipping loved her portrayal. It was nearly identical to how she's presented in the anime. But with all that said, let's talk about the bad, and yeah, let's get into a bit of spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, go ahead and watch it. But in terms of bad, there's unfortunately quite a few bad, and this film was even worse than I imagined it being. I mean, the acting in part one was so hokey, so melodramatic, and just kind of insane at times. The guy who played Eren, my gosh, that was not Eren. In like the first part, he had a more bullyish attitude as well. He was more hot-headed in this movie than he was in the anime, and just the dialogue that just came from his mouth just felt really odd and awkward. And even the fact that Eren, Armin, and Mikasa are all teenagers at this point instead of being little kids, you start to lose the sense of childhood innocence being destroyed by the events of what happened to them. Mikasa kind of being kind of cold and distant towards Armin and Eren 2 years later after she's joined the Scouts was very out of character. And while I do understand that the baby she tried to rescue died and got eaten, and how she doesn't want to witness her friends get killed, it really felt out of character for Mikasa. And I know Hajime Isayama asked the producers not to make the movie faithful to the manga, as the anime adaptation was already pretty hot and going at the time. But even just the way she was written, she was just such a bland, blank slate. She was even more boring on screen compared to the anime version of her. At least you related to her, you understood her. A lot of other characters have either been completely rewritten or just completely changed over. Shika Shihima, who is meant to be the rebooted version of Levi, is just kind of a creep and kind of weird towards Mikasa in some scenes. The only scene I would say that was adapted pretty well from the manga slash anime was the scene when Eren was trying to save Armin. That was a shot for shot remake of the anime slash manga. The OST was another thing that was seriously lacking and kind of bad at times. The sounds and the songs they used, it sounded very similar to season 1, but it felt like a cheap beta version of it. Awkwardly timed OST moments just really ruined the pace and flow of the film at times. But coming back to the pros, I did like the scene of Eren, Armin, and Mikasa looking up at the wall. You really got that sense of how gigantic these walls are and just how freakishly enormous the colossal titans that are hiding inside the walls are. It just kind of you really get this sense of uneasiness. And while we're on the topic of the Titans, the pure Titans that are just roaming around are absolutely disgusting to look at. I don't know if it was CGI or they used models, but whatever they used, it just wasn't working for me. It just looked like a pantomime play, and the added noises that they made just kind of felt a bit gross at times. But let's talk about part 2 and the massive changes they'd made. So part 1 pretty much adapts episodes 1 to about 8 of the anime. Part 2 began of how episode 14 started with Eren being on trial, but after that it's just a completely different film. I found it extremely jarring when it was revealed that this world of Attack on Titan is actually set in the 21st century or the 22nd century, because fake Beta Levi guy told Eren that over a century ago the Titan War began and all that. And you see shops and supermarkets and people celebrating their birthdays in the 2000s, and it's just really weird. And yeah, just the whole scene of Eren being in that white prison just felt odd. I felt like I was watching a completely different story. It no longer felt like Attack on Titan. Another thing they really hammed up in this film was Eren and Jean's rivalry. I mean, they were rivals in the first seasons, and like, man, they really hammed up the rivalry and the tension between them. Like, Eren was pretty damn violent towards Jean, to the point where I'm like, dude, calm down, bruv. Calm down. But overall, Attack on Titan, the movie, it's weird, odd, and bad. It does have some nice Titan shifter designs, like the Colossal Titan and the Armored, and Eren at times looks pretty scary to look at. The ODM gear scenes, while pretty nice at times, did look kind of green screen like, and overall I'm going to give this film I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm going to give it an E+. It was kind of bad. I'm sorry. I don't really want to see this film again. And if you're a fan of Attack on Titan and you really want to see this film, go check it out. It's on Funimation, but I highly don't recommend this movie. Just watch anything else, mate. Just watch the show. Watch the recap film. But tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of this review. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Like, subscribe for more anime and manga reactions and reviews. With that said, thank you for watching. Check out this channel for future Attack on Titan reviews, rankings, reactions, and more. Boarded Review signing out.